CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we are going to do our RYT 200 week 15, which our pose of the week is Warrior One. So that's a great one to do. We're going to stick to our schedule today for this teacher training, an hour-and-a-half session broken down into 9 10-minute parts. I will mark each part by a cue card so that those of you who are watching this later on demand can skip through to the parts that you want to get the most out of it for the teacher training. And then also for everybody who's with us live, who later wants to review their teacher training, having the cue cards as markers helps you find the piece that's most pertinent for you to review. So we'll start just with 1 second of class announcements. So Teach for a Cause, please do what I'm doing, which is volunteering my time to teach for a cause. It's a great way to gain yoga experience and to build your own following should you want to become a yoga instructor full-time. Or it's just a nice way to do community service if you're a high school leader or just want to give back. Also, any kind of teaching. I always say leadership is leadership, whether you're teaching on the mat or in a boardroom. Finding your teaching voice and leading is always a good skill to have. So regardless of your vocation, I highly recommend biting the bullet and teaching live or pre-recorded. It can also be for Teach for a Cause. Anyway, enough about that. You can email yoga@ShareLove.Fund to volunteer to teach for a cause. You can sign up for this RYT 200 if you're not already signed up by going to ShareLove.Fund/RYT-200. Or if that's a little too complicated, you can find it on our landing page, ShareLove.Fund/train, or just http://ShareLove.Fund, and you can click in the center of the homepage, train, and that will show you our training page. You can see all of our Yoga Alliance accredited degrees that we offer. We're actually accredited for all Yoga Alliance degrees, including YSAP, so you can join that there. And without further ado, we will start. So the class agenda, the first segment, the first half hour of our hour and a half together today is the sort of meditation component, the mindfulness component of yoga. So we will start with 10 minutes of centering. I've cut into that time a little bit with this. 10 minutes of breath work and 10 minutes of meditation. After that, we will go on to our technique section where we will drill down on our pose of the week, which is Warrior One. And then we will conclude class. The final half hour will be broken into 3 more parts, 10 minutes each. And that final half hour will be just a nice yoga flow to treat you all. And that yoga flow will be broken down into a warm-up, a core workout, because I'm a big proponent of always working your core, and a cool down. So without further ado, let us start our 10-minute centering. So I'm just gonna hold this up so it's just easy to navigate later. So 10 minutes of centering. It's not gonna be a real 10 minutes because I made some announcements, but yoga is a practice, not a perfect. Okay, so for this 10 minutes of centering, we're gonna talk about this Tao proverb. Self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states, only if practiced with understanding. The clearer the goal, the greater the result. And this got deleted a little bit, but it's a little hard to read, but I'll put it up here. So, pardon my lawyer handwriting here. Oh wait, Tao proverb. Self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states only if practiced with understanding. The clearer the goal, the greater the result. So with a lot of these Tao Proverbs, there's really two parts. So let's analyze the first part. Self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states. So at ShareLove.Fund, we advocate critical thinking. We're not trying to impose a religious belief. So that's a statement. People can take it or leave it. I think that the takeaway here, the universal takeaway here for everyone, can be that people who follow Taoism believe that self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states. By putting in people who follow this philosophy believe this, we're not saying whether it's true or not. We're just acknowledging that this is a philosophy that exists. So our end goal here is to be thinkers and decision makers and leaders on the mat. Our end goal here is not to get people to follow Taoism. So just keeping that in mind, this exercise is about fulfilling the philosophy requirements of the Yoga Alliance teacher training by studying an ancient text. And it's also about practicing critical thinking, which I feel like in life, sometimes we don't practice enough. Okay, so this sub part of this first part is only if practiced with understanding. So this is like a qualifying phrase. So let's see what that means together. Self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states only if practiced with understanding. So here's like a little caveat. They're saying, you know what? Blind self-discipline doesn't lead to higher spiritual states. Like, only if practiced with understanding. So understanding you can think of as a synonym for compassion. And you can think of this as compassion even for yourself. Is martyrism practicing self-discipline with understanding? I don't have the right answers. What I am trying to do is be a guide to stimulate each viewer's own critical thinking. So just keep that in mind. So basically, regardless of where you stand on this issue, I think the takeaway here is self-discipline does not always lead to higher spiritual states, and that there are different ways to practice self-discipline, and believers of and followers of Taoism believe that it matters how you practice self-discipline, and that you're not always going to get the result of attaining a higher spiritual state depending on whether or not you utilized understanding or compassion in that exercise of self-discipline. So like grammatically, we can think of this as understanding or compassion is modifying self-discipline and qualifying it. So basically, I feel like that takeaway from this first part is, wow, it's not so easy. Like, we're supposed to be disciplined, but not all discipline gets you the end goal, and you need to have compassion. But in some ways, these are common themes in all cultures. The idea of compassion and self-discipline, and the idea of balance, which yoga is. So we can think of this in terms of yoga or union or yoking. We can think of this as balancing self-discipline and understanding. Okay, the second part is the clearer the goal, the greater the result. So Napoleon Hill also talks about this in Outwitting the Devil and in Think and Grow Rich, How to Think and Grow Rich. The clearer the goal, the greater the result. So it is often thought that when you have a definite purpose, you are more likely to attain that purpose. In terms of, and we can think of this in terms of focus. For example, with a nonprofit, if I say that our goal of the nonprofit is to spread the word about yoga, okay? If I say, oh, I'm a CEO and our goal is to spread the word about yoga. Well, that is not really a clear goal, like spread the word about yoga. What does that mean? And because that's not a clear goal, this proverb is saying you won't get a good result. And I will tell you, in terms of nonprofit accounting and annual report disclosures, how the heck could you measure and qualify and show dollar for dollar to donors impact of quote unquote spreading the word of yoga? So for our charity, ShareLove.Fund, our goal, we clarified it. We're giving degrees, we're making graduates out of youth and at-risk women and incarcerated women and pregnant incarcerated women. And so our goal is to graduate from the specified Yoga Alliance degree program. Your goal and our goal in teaching you here today as part of the RYT 200 is to get you through 200 hours of curriculum, to get you through 30 hours of anatomy, 30 hours of philosophy and humanities, 50 hours of business essentials, 15 hours of elective, and the remaining hours in technique, asana. These are really distinct goals. We have a teachable course with assignments for each part, and as people work through it, Teachable says, you're 15% done with your goal. You're 50% done with your degree. You're 75% done. You're 100% done. So this last part, the greater the result, the clearer the goal, the greater the result. Because the goal is very clear, we see the result is also very clear. Did the person graduate? Yes or no? And because the clearer the goal, or we can say the definiteness of the mission, because it's very concrete and because it's measurable, there's no wiggle room. And people work hard to get the quota numbers that our donors want to see and to make that impact. So this is the idea that with focus and definiteness, we have precision in assessing impacts. And because we can precisely assess the impact, that drives a greater result. Because there's no room to hide. So people need to perform, or they reveal that they haven't performed. We also see the clearer the goal, the greater the result. And this whole proverb as a whole of self-discipline leads to higher spiritual states, only practiced with understanding. The clearer the goal, the greater the result. We see this entire proverb is really getting at the belief, sort of the American dream, that extra effort gets you a better life. And that discipline in the pursuit of a specific goal gets you ahead. So let's distinguish discipline with understanding versus martyrism or extreme self-sacrifice. So discipline without having some kind of compassion or some kind of definite goal, that could lead to extremism, starvation, living in a cave, extreme practices that maybe aren't compassionate or lack understanding of your own physical body. Extreme prolonged periods without water that may be unhealthy. So when you exercise discipline, let's say by waking up earlier so you don't miss your train, you are exercising discipline in connection with a specific result that you want to reach. You want to make that train. And so that sacrifice of losing that extra half an hour of sleep, but always being 10 minutes early to the train, let's say, that sacrifice was made not blindly, but with a definite purpose, with a specific result in mind. And this Tao proverb is saying, when you're going, like, discipline is good, but not all discipline is good. When you want to get disciplined, pick a specific goal in mind. And when you add discipline plus a definite purpose, you will achieve the greatest result possible. So in that, I encourage you to take a deep breath and think about a goal that you want to set. Okay, so we actually did do our full 10 minutes, a little more of that, but it's good stuff. So moving right along. Okay, breath work. We are going to start 10 minutes of breath work. Please take a comfortable seated position. I'm just going to hold this up because we can't underestimate how slow it feels live and how hard it is to find the marker when scrolling. So, okay, 10 minutes of breath work. Right, so take a comfortable seated position. And just try to fall into your natural breath. You can close your eyes or have a soft gaze. You can move your neck side to side. I'm gonna just pop up for a comment. Okay, not nice comment. You do neck rolls, head clocks, and just try to connect your breath with some movement. So this is breath work, but we're first starting with minding our natural breath. Lean your head forward and lean your head back. Side to side. Coming up to a neutral spine. Imagine lifting up from the top of your head and pulling down. And now let's try to breathe in through the nose and out the mouth. Still maintaining your natural rhythm of breath, but just focusing it in the nose and out the mouth. Obviously, if that feels restricted, if it feels like you can't breathe, then modify. Now think of having your exhale be twice as long as your inhale. So if your inhale is one part, think of pushing out your exhale so it's 2 parts or longer. Notice I'm not counting how long your inhale and exhale should be, because for breath work, what's great is to find the boundaries of your own lung capacity and explore expanding your own breath. And that's going to be different for everyone. So right now, whatever breathing ratio you were doing as part of your natural breath, we modified it to breathe in your nose and out your mouth. And now we're modifying it to elongate the exhale if your exhale is not already 2 parts to your inhale, or twice as long as your inhale. So if your inhale is 1 count, your exhale will be 2 counts. And we'll maintain that ratio for a minute. Now what we're going to do is expand the breath a bit further by breathing in 10 times and trying to gently increase your inhale and then increase your exhale by 2 parts, and then increase it a little more, and trying to find expansiveness that way through a gradation of gently increasing your inhale, and then as you increase your exhale, still trying to keep that 2-to-1 ratio. Now, listen, it's a practice and not a perfect. So if you find you're at your maximum breathing capacity early on, then just keep that, and you don't need to increase beyond what's comfortable. Nothing here should be construed as medical advice, and just use your own good judgment. You are all going to be yoga teachers, and we want you to be safe. So inhale and exhale 2 parts. And then your next inhale, you're going to try to make it a little longer than the one before. And your exhale, you're going to try to make it 2 parts longer. And then your next inhale, you'll try to make it a little longer than the one before. And your exhale, you'll try to make it long enough so it still stays within that 2-part ratio. And continuing in this way. Remembering to breathe out your mouth. And now when you feel that you've reached the deepest boundary of your lung capacity, make a note, count yourself. How many counts on your inhale? How many counts on your exhale? Use this as an opportunity to get to know your body and to make a mental note of your lung capacity, because breath work is work. It's discipline with a clear goal in mind, and the idea is to have a healthy respiratory system, to increase your lung capacity and not feel so winded in situations that you may feel winded. So by actually doing the work, by actually doing these breathing exercises, we're strengthening our lungs, which is a vital system in our body. And just like we keep track of how many push-ups we can do and how strong our biceps are, counting the length of your inhale and exhale, that can also help you keep track of your lung capacity. Now as you do this and count, let's create space between the inhale and the exhale. And then we'll have a pause and create space between the exhale and the next inhale. So let's try that now. So inhale, the maximum counts that you are doing, and then have a pause. And exhale twice that number of counts. And when you're ready, have a pause. And inhale again, your maximum number of counts. And then have a pause. And exhale again, your maximum number of counts. Now try to do that cycle fluidly, as if it was a continuous circle. The inhale and exhale. Inhale through the nose, pause, and exhale through the mouth, pausing. Congratulations, you completed your 10 minutes of breath work. So now we're going to move on into a 10-minute meditation. I'm going to just stand up and put this card to the front because it's not as easy as it seems when scrolling through. So anyway, 10-minute meditation. 10-minute meditation. Okay, we'll start that now. Okay, so in this 10-minute meditation, it will conclude our first 30-minute segment of our RYT 200, our 90 minutes together here today. So take a comfortable seated position, and we're just going to do a body scan. If it feels good, you can lay down on your mat, having your feet roll out to the sides. If it feels a little too early for laying down, because we still have some work to do, some discipline with purpose in accordance with our theme, you can sit in a comfortable seated position. You can sit on a block or bolster. Generally, I don't teach with blocks or bolsters because we are an incarcerated women's program, and there's nothing more frustrating than being incarcerated, watching this on your tablet and having someone say, okay, grab your block and bolster. So if you want, you can sit in thunderbolt pose if you want to feel a little more upright, or crisscross applesauce, Sukhasana. Take a moment to get comfortable. Begin to focus on the natural rhythm of your breath. Inhale slowly and smoothly. Allow your breath to travel deep to your low belly. Pause and exhale slowly and smoothly, releasing the breath from the body through your nostrils or out your mouth. I'm going to invite you to take a moment to just fully surrender and relax. Make little adjustments as you need to. Feel as comfortable as possible. Feel your breath flowing in and out. Soften your face. Soften your jaw. And allow the breath to flow in and smoothly out. Soften and relax the eyes, the shoulders. Let your entire body feel relaxed, weighted, and secure. It gives you a minute to really, really sink into it. Continue to scan your body, paying attention to any tight places, and continue to use your breath to sink in. When you feel ready, gently bring your awareness back to the present. You can roll gently to the side if you're laying on your back, or open your eyes, just taking notice of the sights and sounds around you. Feeling a deeper connection to your breath, having meditated. How do you feel? I hope everyone feels good. We did the mindfulness component, the breath work, and the meditation. So that was all the mind. 10 minutes approximately of each to conclude the first third of our class, the first 30 minutes. Now we're going to go on to our purple section, the overview. So, not the overview, our technique part. This is the overview of techniques. We'll do about 10 minutes of the pose of the week, 10 minutes of the sequence of the week, and a 10-minute brief cumulative review, and really drill down on the technique. I'm just going to put this up so folks later for review can use the markers. So, this is what I want to put up. We'll start our 10 minutes pose of the week. So that is it, 10 minutes pose of the week. So as all of you know already, the share method is, but in case somebody is just joining and doesn't know, the share method was developed for incarcerated women during COVID who were isolated. They were not able to see their children due to COVID restrictions to keep the group safe. And that was a really tough time. So in that isolation, I always try to make lemonade out of lemons, and I thought this is a great time for incarcerated women to earn a vocational training degree that respects their mind, body, and soul. Should they ever need it, they would have a livelihood, either with ShareLove.Fund or another yoga school, to actually teach. And just as I am teaching on my iPhone at home, live on YouTube, our incarcerated women, they could also perform their childcare duties. Most of them do have children on the outside, should they be released, and they could do that just by videoing at home. It wouldn't be a matter of whether someone has a criminal record or not, because again, it's just a video at home, and that is a way that they could not only teach for a cause, but also get a livelihood to turn them from a ward of the state into a tax-paying citizen. One of the things I always say is, if someone didn't have a legal job before they became in custody of the state or New York City, then why do we think that they are going to be able to get a paying legal job after with a record? It's just going to be that much harder. So ShareLove.Fund fills a gap through our social enterprise of having this yoga school. Every time you buy a degree with Teachable, you are also funding a degree for an incarcerated woman. As I said before, but I'll just shamelessly pitch, ShareLove.Fund/train to sign up. That's where you can visit us. Our name is our URL. ShareLove.Fund is our name, and it's also our URL. Why do we do that? Because we want incarcerated women to be able to find us when they're released, and it's just one thing to remember. We're ShareLove.Fund. That's our name. That's our website. that's even our email, donate@ShareLove.Fund or yoga@ShareLove.Fund. It's just one thing to remember. We are formally named the Share Institute, Inc. We also have a fund of funds, the Share Fund, Inc., both 501c3s, but we do business as ShareLove.Fund because that's our URL, and we just want one thing to remember for our incarcerated women. So, what was I going to say? So, in light of that, just to simplify and have less to remember, our program is based on repetition. So we have 45 key signature poses. We introduce 9 poses, 1 pose a week for 9 consecutive weeks. Then on the 10th week, we do a review. It doesn't really fall on week 10, etc., because our first week is our introduction, and our second week, we introduce the sun salutation. So when we introduce our first pose, it is on week 3, actually. And because of that, our review weeks or sequence weeks are week 2, where we do the sun salutation, week 12, where we reviewed our first sequence all together, and our next review week coming up will be week 22, where we will do the sequence that we're going to do today with Warrior 1. Okay, so let's get started. So the pose of the week is Warrior 1. So how do we do that? So we have one foot bent, other foot at a knee bent, other foot at a 90-degree angle. Inhale the arms up. You can also look back. And this is a power pose. Eyes forward. On the other side, since yoga is symmetrical and it's important to work both sides, this is how it is. Now we're not warmed up, so you might be a little tight. Warrior 1 stretches the back of the hamstrings. It works the glutes, it works the core because you have to kind of zip it up. You want to lift up, but still keep your shoulders relaxed. You want your hips squarely facing forward. And you want to breathe. So all that breathing we did in the beginning has a purpose. Yoga is linking breath with movement. So you want to breathe. So one way that I like to help students remember their poses is to take similar poses and shoot it at them a little bit and see if we remember. So Warrior 1, Warrior 2. So Warrior 2 is a sideways pose. Warrior 1 is facing forward. Warrior 3 is a bouncing pose. Sorry, I'm a little worried about my coffee, so I'm gonna move it. So Warrior 3 is a balancing pose. Warrior 2, open wide. Warrior 1, forward. Let's do that on the other side, just so we are symmetrical on both sides. And Warrior 1 is our pose of the week, but we want to make sure that we distinguish between Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3. So Warrior 1, hips are squared forward. Warrior 2, we are looking to the side. And Warrior 3 is a balancing pose. So Warrior 3, Warrior 2, and Warrior 1. Warrior 1 again is a power pose. So you can really breathe breathe into it and feel empowered, like maybe even bend into it a little bit. To come out of it, you can inhale, straight leg, maybe even bend, a little stretch, sort of like pyramid. Just do a stretch on the other side so we're even on both sides. Bring the feet together, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, and that was your pose of the week, Warrior One. So now let's talk about the sequence of the week. So we'll start our 10-minute segment of techniques with the sequence of the week. So I'll just put this a little closer for people navigating. Sequence of the week. Boop, starts now. Okay, so the sequence of the week. So as you recall, the SHARE method to help incarcerated women, our method was developed to help incarcerated women who may be illiterate become confident yoga teachers. How do we do that? We do that by repetition. So we have sun salutation A, and we will spice up sun salutation A with 9 poses, and we will review all of that in week 22, and that will be your series B of sun salutation A. You will graduate knowing our 5 sequences plus sun salutation A, which is the 6th sequence, plus a warm-up, which is the 7th sequence, plus a sequence you come up with, which is 8 sequences. We like the number 8 because it corresponds with the 8 limbs of yoga. And our method is not a method of how to do yoga. It's a method of how to train anyone to be a confident yoga teacher. And that method is designed by eliminating what, just kind of sifting to just the essentials. So we focus on 45 key SHARE method signature poses, because we find that when a teacher confidently knows 45 poses, that's enough to get by, to even teach 7 days a week. They want to learn more, then by all means learn more. We never say, oh, these poses have some like beyond man significance. No, we're saying we just limited the scope of yoga because we found that with focus and limitation, we could achieve mastery in any population regardless of skill set. So we can have someone who's blind and in a wheelchair, and they become masters of breath work and meditation just by our routine of repetition. We have a 52-week routine because the women we serve who are incarcerated, they have 52 weeks of time. So that sort of helps them mentally pace their year. All of our programs are RYT, Registered Children's Yoga Teacher Training, our PYT, Prenatal Yoga Teacher Training. Those are all 52 weeks a year. All of our programs are based on 52 sessions of this hour-and-a-half session like we're doing. And that's because somebody serving a multi-year sentence can also kind of pace themselves mentally. Okay, this year I'll get this degree, next year I'll get that degree. For the general public, where these YouTube sessions are recorded, so the general public can binge watch or not watch. It's optional. And but the reason why we developed this method is because mental illness and insanity post-incarceration is disproportionately higher for women than men, and we felt that this 52-week paced approach not only helped our population memorize the poses, as we have the pose of the week, and then every week ending in a 2 is a review week with a sequence, and we have the cumulative review coming up. Not only is that an effective way to memorize things through repetition without the anxiety of any tests or quizzes, we also felt that it actually had a really beautiful and significant mental health component where it actually helped give understanding and discipline in line with our Tao proverb of the day. And it allowed our incarcerated women population to exercise discipline in attaining their concrete goal of a degree with understanding of the material. So there it goes. It relates to our Tao proverb. Anyway, without further ado, we are reviewing our sequence of the week, okay? So our sequence is incomplete because we're only 3 poses in to what we've learned so far. And you'll get the entire sequence in week 22. But let's see what we've got so far. Okay, feet together, and we're just gonna do a plain ordinary sun salutation as a review. Then we're gonna weave in our poses. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, one leg back, the other leg back. Knees, chest, chin. Cobra. From cobra, down dog. From down dog, inhale the left knee in, step it through. Right knee, step it through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up, down to your side, mountain pose. That was sun salutation A on one side. You learned sun salutation A in week 2. So now we're going to do sun salutation A on the other side, okay? Because our sequence of the week starts with sun salutation A. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, right leg back, left leg back to plank. From plank, knees, chest, chin. From knees, chest, chin, you can go to up dog if you want. Exhale, down dog. Right knee in, step it through. Left leg comes to match. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. Now you've completed your sun salutation on both sides. I'm just going to cheat a little bit and look at my cheat sheet to see. Okay, so we've done pyramid last week. This week is warrior 1. And I'm trying to see what week 13 was. Okay, week 13 was revolve triangle. Okay, so now we're going to spice up the sun salutation with the 3 poses we've learned to date. This sequence will not be complete until we learn all 9 poses, and then we're going to review this sequence with all 9 new poses on week 22. But so far, we are in week 15. We get a new pose each week, except in a review week. We're in week 15. We've only learned 3 of our spice up poses for this particular sun salutation A. Let's try them out. Our spice up poses are pyramid, revolve triangle, and warrior 1. Okay, so let's check it out. So we start with our sun salutation A, but we're gonna splice it and spice it. Let's do it. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, left leg back, right leg back. Plank. Knees, chest, chin. Up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left knee in. Step it through. Inhale, arms up. We can just hit this warrior 1. Exhale, pyramid. Straighten the knee. Triangle, revolve triangle. Come back to pyramid. From pyramid, down dog. From down dog, now we resume our sun salutation A as if nothing ever happened. Inhale, left leg in, step it through, right leg, step it through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up. Exhale. Let's do that on the other side. We're doing spiced up sun salutation A. We're splicing and spicing. I just came up with that live. I'm super proud of myself. But my kids think I'm cheesy, so you can make your own critical thinking assessment. Okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, right leg back, left leg back to plank. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, we are splicing. Inhale, right leg in, step it through. And inhale to warrior one. From warrior one, exhale to pyramid. From pyramid, straighten your leg to revolve triangle. From revolve triangle, exhale back to pyramid. From pyramid, bring your left leg back to down dog. It's like it never happened. We're just gonna finish our sun salutation A, like we've just been minding our own business. Just like as if we never sliced and spiced, but we did, so that's super cool. Okay, inhale, right knee in, step it through. Left leg comes to meet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up and out the sides. So, congratulations. We just finished our 10-minute sequence of the week. So that's a little mini sequence. You will get the full one in week 22. So now we are going to finish our technique section with the final 10 minutes of this middle half hour in our 90-minute. So we have 10 minutes of a cumulative review. So let's review everything. Okay, 10 minutes cumulative review. Okay, so we did the sun salutation A. That was what you learned in week 2. Then we did our sequence of the week just now, which was sun salutation A, but we interrupted the down dog. We interrupted it with warrior one, pyramid, and revolve triangle. So what we just did was we reviewed sun salutation A, what we learned in week 2, and we reviewed our sequence of the week, which had 3 spices or 3 extra poses, and we'll get all 9 of those extra poses in week 22. But what we haven't reviewed yet is our go-to warm-up that we reviewed in week 12, and as part of that, our sequence that our full sequence, our warm-up and our spiced up sun salutation that we call Series A and the share method, we haven't reviewed that. So now for this cumulative review, we're gonna go and we are going to sort of flash back to what we reviewed in week 12. So come to a comfortable seated position, to Tadasana. So in week 12, what we reviewed is a go-to warm-up with a spiced up sun salutation A. We call this Series A of sun salutation A, and it's one of your 5 sequences that will help you memorize the 45 poses. So maybe you'll learn more poses on your own, but you're guaranteed to know, like the back of your hand, 45 poses when you graduate from our repetitive program. 45 poses divided by 9 is 5. That's why we have 5 sequences that help us remember the 45 poses, because each of the 5 sequences has 9 poses in it. So this sequence is unusual. It's our only sequence where some of our poses are before the sun salutation as a warm-up, and some of them are after. So in this sequence, Sukhasana comes before the sun salutation, and cat-cow comes before the sun salutation as a warm-up. So let's give this a try. Take a comfortable seated position, and you can put your palms on your knees to ground yourself. Lengthen your head, drawing your spine down. Inhale, arms up to the side, and exhale, and arms to the other side, and exhale. When you feel ready, inhale your arms up, and come to table. And table will warm up the spine by doing a few cat-cows. Drawing your belly button down, and then your spine up. You can go all the way around. Bringing the spine up. Shaking the head, no. Shaking the head, yes. Belly button down. In cat-cow, you can develop your own modifications, like doing a hamstring stretch with 1 foot back. The reason why we only teach 45 poses is we feel that with the 45 poses, you have an infinite options available to you. For example, this is not a pose we teach cat-cow, but someone can kind of invent a pose, stretching the hamstring, putting up the opposite arm to build strength in the core, things like that. So we'll stretch on the other side. The great thing about yoga is you can be symmetrical. And we'll always try to keep that in mind. We'll lift up this opposite arm. So this is a way to kind of spice up the warm-up. So from cat-cow, roll the toes under, and we'll push up, walk, walk, walk the feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly coming up, arms up, Tadasana. I'm just gonna take my little cheat sheet. Okay, so, oops, sorry. It's live, flips and bloopers and all. So, in week 5, we studied Tadasana. So from our cat-cow, we come up, we do Tadasana. And then exhale, forward fold. So the forward fold, it's just part of our warm-up still. We really haven't started the sun salutation yet. I'm gonna hold opposite arms to get deeper. Then slowly come up vertebrae by vertebrae. So now let's link that warm-up to our spiced up sun salutation that we reviewed in week 12. So we'll start with ordinary sun salutation. Tadasana, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, left leg back, right leg back. Plank. Knees, chest, chin. Up dog. Down dog. Now from down dog, we're gonna slice and spice. So we're going to interrupt our sun salutation in this down dog. Left knee in, step it through. And we have revolved lunge. From revolved lunge, extended side angle. From extended side angle, we have triangle. From triangle, we have warrior 2, which we touched on earlier, and reverse warrior. From reverse warrior, you can just windmill the arms all the way back to low lunge. Exhale to down dog, like it never happened, and finish off that sun salutation. Inhale, left leg in, step it through, right leg step it through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up. Exhale at our sides. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, right leg back, left leg back into plank. From plank, knees, chest, chin. From here, up dog. From here, down dog. Now inhale the right knee in, step it through. We're gonna spice it up on this side. Revolve lunge. Extended side angle. Triangle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Windmill the arms around. To low lunge. Exhale to down dog. Like it never happened, we finish off our sun salutation here. We resume. Inhale, right knee in, step it through. Left leg, step it through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Arms all the way up. And exhale at your sides. So congratulations, you finished the technique part. You all have completed the first hour of class. So that is really the teacher training part. Now is the treat part. So I'll treat you to the practice part. So the practice part is broken into a 10-minute warm-up. A 10-minute core has a double meaning, our core body, but also I believe that working the center of our body is the most important, and so it means like the meat of the workout, but also the meat of the workout will always be focused on our core. That's not a share method thing, that's just a gift to you from me thing. And then of course the 10-minute cool down. So I'll put this up for people navigating. Actually, this is not the card I want to put up. This one is the warm up. So let the warm up begin. So this is a 10-minute warm up. So congratulations. We made it to the part just for you. So please take a seat on your mat, and we're going to warm up by stretching. You can have your legs in a straddle, or if it feels more comfortable, isolate one side. Having your spine long, it doesn't really matter how far your straddle is, it's what feels comfortable to you. And just kind of walk your hands out, letting go, allowing your back to round, and breathing into it. And a few breaths. You can inhale and reach your arms to one side. Maybe grabbing hold of your foot or leg and just kind of falling into it. Inhale, and you can reach on the other side. Kind of reach out on both sides, whether it's your leg, calves, shins, or feet, and just stretching a little. You can bring both feet together, a little butterfly, shaking it out, pulling your feet in, and kind of shimmying yourself up tall. Breathing and just feeling long and strong. From here, you can just gently allow your head to fall. Walking your hands to one side, feeling the back, the stretch in your back maybe. And walking your hands to the other side. From here, we'll rise to do a standing warm-up. So inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward fold. So a forward fold can be great. We're gonna hold opposite elbows because it really stretches the whole backside body. It can have wonderful benefits for even digestion. Just let your body fall. You can let yourself sway a little bit. You can put your hands under your feet if you want, or just maybe use them to roll a little forward and back to stretch those hamstrings. If you feel dizzy being upside down or uncomfortable, you can get the same benefits as a seated forward fold. Now let's just hang out here because it allows you to release everything from your hamstrings to your back, to your arms, to your neck, allowing your neck to drop. You can imagine tension just dripping out of your body. You can walk your hands to one side. Maybe feeling a hip stretch. And walk your hands to the other side. From the center, slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale the arms up, clasp your hands together, stretching to one side, stretching to the other, keeping the elbows straight. Inhale, come to the center of your mat. Inhale, arms up, and slowly come down into a squat. Now, you might not think of a squat as a stretch, but it is. Stretching your knees, working your core to keep your posture tall. Grounding each toe into the mat as if it's growing roots. You're just taking a moment to breathe here. From a squat, you can roll back on your tailbone. Bring one leg over the other into half Lord of the Fishes pose, the pose we will see later in our sequences. Inhale the arms up and exhale to one side, bringing the gaze back around. Inhale the arms up to the other side. shaking out the legs and doing half Lord of the Fishes on the other side. Inhale, arms up, and exhale. And inhale, arms up, and exhale. Coming back, now let us start our core of the matter, as I like to call it, our 10 minutes of core. So we're still in our yoga flow of the week, the treat to you, but we'll start our core. So for folks that only have 10 minutes and are just like, I just want to work my core, this slide marker is for you, so you can scroll and find that easily. So those markers are for the grab and go, folks. Okay, so we're actually going to work our core from our back. So just because you're laying on your back doesn't mean you can't work your core. So we'll bring our knees into our chest because it's yoga, and we also like to feel good. Exhale, push your feet up to the ceiling. So even doing this is working your core. You can inhale your arms up and then gently bring them down to cactus arms. Just holding your legs up straight for a few breaths is working your core. Now slowly bring your legs down. You can give yourself a few counts and just try to evenly bring them down. As you get close, hover, and that really works your core, and then you can bring them down to rest. Bringing your knees back into chest. You can widen your legs and roll side to side. Stretch through happy baby, and then continue to work your core with your legs up. Inhale the arms up, and engage your core by contracting it by touching your toes or reaching upwards towards your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring the knees back into chest. Give yourself a little hug. Again, raise the legs. Inhale, arms up, and cactus arms. Just having the legs here is engaging the core. Now we'll work the obliques by going side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can give yourself a big hug. So this is like child's pose on your back. And when you feel ready, you can use a big inhale and push yourself up to shoulder stand. Again, working the core. Slowly come down, vertebrae by vertebrae, giving yourself another hug back and forth. Engage your core muscles to rock a little bit and come up to seated position. So in a version of boat pose, we'll straighten a leg to kind of work the core. And we'll do that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming up, you can raise your feet if you want, or you can just kind of do toe taps to sort of engage, but still feel stable. And we'll hold this for 10, a holding pose. Holding poses are great to work your muscles, your stabilizer muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly go down vertebrae by vertebrae, stretching out, arms all the way up, sweeping it around, and now we'll bring the legs into chest, give a hug again, and raise the legs up again. Inhale, arms up, sweep them overhead. Exhale, cactus arms, and we just hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bringing one knee into chest, using this arm as leverage. Reach, 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 and we'll do that for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll hold it for 10. 1. You can put your hand behind your neck if that helps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hug your knees into chest. It is yoga after all. You can rock side to side, massaging your back. And even rocking side to side is still engaging your core. When you're ready, firmly grab one leg, bringing your other leg up. And we'll do it again on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll hold for 10. You can bring your hand behind your neck if it's tight or if it feels strained. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale with your leg out, and can try to do a form of goddess pose. Gauging your core, trying to push your hips out. Mine are super tight, so the idea is that the knees would be horizontal if you can, but wherever you are, you can kind of play around with how high it is. And just holding this is working the core. Inhale the arms up, exhale them down to cactus pose to really elongate the space between the shoulders. 1, 2, and just take 10 deep breaths. Remember how we were breathing in the nose and out the mouth. Experiment with that, pushing the lung capacity, doing the work, the breath work. Exercising discipline with purpose to attain a goal and get the greatest results. Focusing your energy gives you the best chances of achieving a particular outcome. You can think of water going through a hose with a small focused nozzle, or water being dumped out of a bucket. Which is going to be more powerful? Which is going to go further? I don't know if it's such a good analogy. I feel like there may be some physicists that are going to call me out on that. But basically, as a layman, the idea is that by focusing, by narrowing our scope, we can go further. Inhale the knees into chest. Exhale one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gently come back down and slowly bring the legs down to complete the core exercise. Hover, hover, hover. Exhale, arms up. And you can stay where you are. Don't follow me, but I want to just do the marker for our folks later looking for the markers. So now we're going to begin our 10-minute cool down. So this is our final 10 minutes of our week 15. I can't even believe it's week 15 of our RYT 200 training. So we're just going to do a 10-minute cool down. 10-minute cool down. So this is the treat of treats. So for this 10-minute cool down, I'm going to turn off the lights. Feel free to turn off the lights if you want to. And we're just going to be in Savasana and stretching a little bit and continuing the body scan that we were doing and just cooling down and feeling good at the same time. So as we started the body scan earlier, this session with our meditation, maybe you were sitting up, so now you can come down. So try to think of a long spine. Bring your feet, it can be hip width apart or a little wider if you want. Allow your feet to roll out. Bring your chin into your chest and then kind of like roll out your neck so your neck can make full connection with the mat. Feel your feet heavy on each side. You can bring your arms up and back, like cactus arms. You can have them resting on your body, whatever feels comfortable. If you feel like kinks and things like this, you're invited to do a little stretch and we'll kind of do an active savasana. If you feel just totally like you're melting in the mat just as it is, maybe you don't need it, just a stretch, so you don't have to follow along. As teachers, you will all need to decide what to put in your class and what not to. And as students, you can start that deliberative process by choosing what to follow and what not to follow. Inhale the knees in if you don't feel like your back is really connecting with the mat and you want to kind of loosen things up. Cross your legs like you're having a little tea party. Grab your ankles and bring your feet out to each side and try to feel a deep stretch in your hips. All the while, still keep your neck trying to connect maximum to the mat so you can bring your chin into your chest. And use this body scan meditation concept that we started earlier to imagine your breath in your hips really opening. If you're not following along with the stretch and you're just laying down like this, you can still imagine your breath peeling open your hips to the sides, connecting your lower spine to the mat. But here we'll continue this glute stretch. The hips are pretty stubborn. It takes a long time to stretch them. So we're just going to be here a while. Breathing. Using our breath as a body scan. Allowing our body to return to our normal breath in this cool down. Just breathing, not doing the breath work, just letting go. can inhale the knees to your chest if you're following along. If you're in Savasana, just melting into your mat, then you can melt away. If you are stretching, you can cross your legs on each side or on the other side. Grab hold of your ankles, bring them out or just to your chest, and feel the stretch in your hip on the other side. Breathing into the points of tightness, using your breath, just the natural rhythm of your breath, but still using your breath. You can bring your knees into your chest again and allow them to fall to one side. Still crossing over, elongating your arm on the other side and bringing your gaze to opposite your knees. This is a spinal twist, and again, you can just be in Savasana or corpse pose, but if you want a little more in this cool down, you can do a twist. In yoga, we may look like we're just laying around, but actually these cool downs, these restorations, reduce cortisol. And just like in finances, a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, when it comes to metabolism, having a more efficient metabolism is sort of like the same as exercising more or eating more healthy things or less unhealthy things. So you can either eliminate the excess that you eat, or you can lower your cortisol so your body doesn't harbor as much of the excess fat. So it's just like you can earn money or you can spend less to bump up the savings account. Just like with your body, you can eat less sugars which store fat, or you can just reduce the cortisol in your body through relaxation, which will harbor less of the sugars that store fat. In general, I'm not a nutritionist, but in general, the best approaches are balanced approaches. It's not really any one way, but just kind of taking it all in and then using different strategies when they suit you. Inhale the knees into chest. If you're following along on this, you can cross the legs and let the legs fall on the other side, bringing the arms straight, letting your eyes look over towards your extended fingertips. When you're ready, you can bring your knees into chest. them to fall to one side. Slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Take a few breaths, acknowledging your practice, and just taking note of how you feel. You can come back to the Tao proverb that we started with, talking about how discipline may help you optimize when exercised with a clear goal in mind. And that when we focus and are disciplined, it's the best recipe to achieve and maximize results. This is just an opinion to stimulate your own critical thinking. The answer is within you. Namaste. May the light in me be the light in you. Thank you so much for joining ShareLove.Fund's RYT 200 teacher training today. Have a blessed day. Please comment on our Teachable, and please volunteer to teach for a cause by emailing yoga@ShareLove.Fund, and let's do this together. Together we rise. Thank you. Namaste.